Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. This is not one of the election stories, but given that there is an election around the corner, it will provide ammunition for the opposition and deep embarrassment for the Scottish Government. There was an accident in a car park in Aberdeenshire last week, and a very little girl was struck by a Land Rover. She died. And that is tragic. However, there was not a single ambulance available to attend. Not one. Every single ambulance was stacked and waiting at the hospital with someone inside because they couldn't admit them. That is the reality of the NHS in Scotland. And it's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse for at least 2 years, because regardless of the outcome of the general election, the SNP are still destroying Scotland for the next 2 years. Perhaps there should be calls for a Holyrood election as well. This cannot go on. How many more people, how many more children will have to die just because the NHS will not be supported by the SNP? Make no bones about it. This is the SNP's doing. Health is devolved. The money is devolved. They've got the cash. They just choose to spend it on independence matters. Your children and grandchildren will die for independence. If you're an SNP voter, is that truly what you want? Let's have a look. So, wake up call for the SNP as no free ambulances attend tragic baby girl because they were all stacked at a nearby hospital. Ivy Mae Ross died after a collision with a Land Rover in a church car park. And although there is no suggestion that the tragic outcome would have been different if an ambulance was available, no ambulance was available. There was not a single ambulance available to try and save a 1-year-old girl who died after an accident in a church car park, it's been revealed. The MSPs were told that due to stacking issues at the nearest major hospital, there was not one ambulance free able to attend the incident in Balmeedy. Instead, experts from the Special Operations Response Team, who are usually used to deal with major hazardous incidents, were dispatched to the scene at the Plymouth Brethren Church. The issue was raised in Holyrood on Thursday during PMQs by North East Scotland Conservative MSP Douglas Lumsden. He stressed he did not believe the outcome would have been different if a regular ambulance crew was available. No, but the point is, they weren't. They were all stacked because the hospital could not admit these people. The NHS is falling apart, and nobody in the SNP seems to care. What is Neil Gray doing? Why is Neil Gray sitting on his overpaid, overbearing, pompous, self-important backside instead of sorting out the problems of the department that he is allegedly supposed to be running? He's not doing his job. He needs to go. Mr. Lumsden said that those emergency workers sent to the scene had done a fantastic job. However, he went on, the tragic incident should be a wake-up call to the Scottish Government. Will the First Minister intervene and do all he can to stop ambulances queuing for hours on end to drop off patients at Aberdeen Royal Infirmary? In response, Swinney promised to raise the issue with bosses at the local health board. He expressed his deepest sympathy to the Charles family, but claimed that not all ambulances had been stacked as some crews were out on other calls. Oh, well, that's all right then. Admitting that they were stacking, but not all of them, so everything is fine and hunky-dory. I don't think so. The First Minister continued, obviously it would be preferable and desirable for there to be ambulance crews available to attend. This is an important reminder of the importance of ensuring that there's very swift transfer of patients at hospitals and to make sure the ambulance capacity we have is available to be deployed where it requires to be deployed. A spokesman for the Scottish Ambulance Service said at the time of his call at 7:47 p.m. on Wednesday, May the 16th, all our emergency vehicles and crews were tied up attending emergencies in the community or were stacked outside Aberdeen Royal Infirmary and experiencing waits in excess of 5 hours. It should not take 5 hours to admit a patient. Build more hospitals, fire everybody in your pretendy foreign embassies, and see life improve for Scots. He added, we felt we had no choice but to deploy 3 of our special operations response teams, which normally only respond to incidents in hazardous environments, to the scene at the first resource, and that arrived at 7:58. One patient was transported from the scene at 8:11 and arrived in Aberdeen Royal Children's Hospital at 8:24. And then was, unfortunately and sadly, departed, died, and went away. Very sad, tragic. But whether that life could have been saved if an ambulance was there or not is beside the point. The main point is there was no ambulance. While it may or may not have made a difference in that case, it will certainly make a difference in other cases when, instead of taking the patient to hospital, the patient being admitted and sorted out and triaged, 5 hours, you're sitting in an ambulance car park for 5 hours. That's not why we pay ambulance crews. Paramedics should be out on the road waiting, not sitting in a car park, reading the paper, scratching their backside, waiting for somebody in the hospital to be bothered to admit the patient. And I'm not saying the hospital are lazy, I'm saying they haven't got the resources, This is what it is. Now, if you have someone with short-term, something like heart attack, stroke or whatever, they're going to die. But the SNP don't care. They literally couldn't give a flying monkey, could they? They know this happens. Doesn't bother them. Psychopaths. Coming up. Now, I don't for one moment suppose anybody will be at all surprised by this. Years and years of underfunding, years of ignoring problems, years of being told about these things and doing nothing. And that's what you end up with. But no ambulance should be waiting 5 hours, let alone loads of them queuing to get in. It's just, it's almost a crime against humanity for what they're doing, isn't it? You have the right to medical care. Where is that right? Where is that medical care? Sitting there, abroad, quaffing champagne at the public expense. Close down the pretendy embassies, fire all the staff, get rid of all the spin doctors, sell all those 20-mile-an-hour road signs, and pump the money in and build another bloody hospital. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for listening. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.